If you don't know where to begin with seeking therapy, this video is for you. I am a therapy client and we are going to cover the basics, how to find a therapist, and some other really good things to know. Hi, I'm Caylyn and I go to therapy. You can consider this video like Therapy 101 or Therapy for Dummies. If you've never had to go look for a therapist before, or you've had a therapist before and you wanted to find one again, we're going to go over kind of the tips and tricks on how to actually do that in a way that makes the process a lot less daunting. I've had a few therapists in my day and have had to do this search a couple of times. So here we go. So before you even start Googling therapists, don't do it. Grab yourself a Post-it note or your journal and write down why you're seeking therapy. Write down some things that you already know about yourself. What this is going to do is help you find a therapist that's going to be right for you. You know, if you're struggling with some anxiety, something like social anxiety, you probably don't need a marriage counselor. But if you are having relationship struggles, maybe you do want to go see somebody who specializes in that. As Bill Nye the Science Guy would say, consider the following. What kind of therapist do you want to have? Would you like someone who's male, female, non-binary? Do you want someone who's LGBTQ+? Do you want somebody who shares your faith or your ancestry? Do you need someone who can speak your first language? Or do you need somebody who knows ASL? These are all things worth considering before going to look for a therapist, because that can help you find somebody that not only you are more comfortable with, but who can really help you or really understand. So take the time to think about those things and give yourself that. Now that you know what you're looking for, still don't look. I'm watching you. First, financials. Do you have an insurance plan? Are you covered by your employer? Does your province or nation have some kind of healthcare coverage that takes care of these things like you? Find out what you may have that can help you financially before going to look for a therapist. Bonus points, if you have an employer that actually can match you with an organization, that could be great. You could find an organization on your own that has a sliding scale that might work a little bit better for you. Or if you're matched, often what will happen is you will go through an intake process, which is one of the greatest things, in my opinion, to finding a therapist. If you've never heard of the intake process before, this is when your first session is actually having a meeting with a therapist whose job it is to actually match you with a therapist based on what you tell them. So they're going to ask you what you want, why you want to come to therapy. Have you been to therapy before? Some of these other questions that I've asked you earlier in this video, and they can match you with somebody, which is awesome. My biggest struggle with finding a therapist was finding resources to actually find somebody and get somebody quick. Comment down below what your biggest struggle with finding therapy has been like. And now you can look for a therapist. I just wanted to narrow it down and make it a lot clearer from the get-go. That way it's easier to actually look for someone. Psychology Today is an excellent online resource. It's like a directory where therapists put themselves online, tell you a little bit about what their specialties are, what their rates are. There's information about them. So that can be a really good starting point. Get a referral from your doctor. Often doctors actually have a lot of resources and can give you some lists on good organizations or where to look for a therapist. If you're, again, looking for maybe an organization with a sliding scale or other resources, most countries and sometimes provinces have their own mental health association that would have these kinds of resources that you can access to try and find a therapist. If you need something that's maybe a little bit more cost savvy, you could always try looking for a student therapist if you're comfortable. Certain types of psychotherapy modalities have their own institutes that teach a specific type of therapy, and sometimes there's student clinics where you can actually be paired with a student therapist. Look up different governing bodies for certain things, like the Ontario College of Social Workers and Social Service Workers. They will have resources or could even directly connect you to somebody that is going to be a good match for you. And of course, in this glorious technological age that we live in, Googling "find a therapist" gave me 1.58 billion hits. We have more resources than ever. You got this. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about different mental health things, sign up for my weekly newsletter, link down below in the description. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Please like, please share, leave me a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next week. Cheers.